to the Daily Rant. This is Chris Parry, founder of EQUITY.GURU. You might recall me being the guy who used to do cannabis back in the day and went up and went down. Anyway, what's up? On a market crash day, I've got some things to talk to you about. Not about the market crash because, we've been talking about that coming for a long time and it's probably going to continue for a little while longer yet. There's uncertainty all over the place. There's nothing we can do about it. Be in cash largely. That's the only advice I can give you. I've been giving you that advice for the last few months. If you haven't done it yet, well, hey. But markets aside, what I ideally want in an investment that's market proof is I want to be buying into something that is so small market cap wise and generating revenue that is well beyond its market cap. And you may be losing money, but is growing, is building into something, right? Like you're getting it at a cheap price at the bottom of its arc as it's building into something real. It may be in growth phase, so there's losses on an annual basis, but there's enough cash in there to not worry about that. I'm looking for something where hot sector, maybe there's something that's weighing the company down that I don't think is really that important. That to me is a perfect investment. That's where I'm going to be putting my money, even if the market is going south. Don't give a shit. To me, this is a formula for success. So I've got a company here. It's a client company, so conflicts aside, I understand that. I've also been buying some stock of it, so I'm conflicted well and truly up the arse. But here's the deal on this company. It is run by somebody who, back in the day, was part of a company that I killed, that I just went out and editorially destroyed. This was a company called Namaste. It was run by the man bun, as we'll recall. It was a big cannabis pump. Initially, an e-commerce cannabis play that had revenue that looked good, but once the market started getting into it and the CEO started realizing that anytime he took a shit on Twitter, that the share price would rise by 30%, he got addicted to the jump, and everyone else to do with the company was just trying to keep things together. So anyway, that company went to this, and then I took it back down to this because it was smoke and mirrors, and I was right. A 52-page destruction, and I was right. Anyway, so here we go. We're into the future now. Corey Zellickson, who was part of that leadership group and eventually got himself out of there, did his time, came back with something called Vejii Holdings, V-E-J-I Holdings. The ticker symbol, sorry, VEJII Holdings. The ticker symbol is VEJI. Okay, so what this is it's a, not so much plant-based, but like unprocessed food delivery program, grocery deal. So let's say Whole Foods is out there with Amazon sending stuff to your front door. HelloFresh is out there sending soon-to-be cooked ingredients to your front door. These guys are just basically like, look, you want to eat good food, decent food? We got all the plant-based stuff. We got all the vegetarian stuff, all the vegan stuff, all in one place. We'll get it out to you quickly. Great. Okay. Problem with this is there's two problems. One, it's expensive to build that out. Like that's a network that needs to be really built through either acquisition or through just hard manual labor, and it's not inexpensive. Two, Corey Zellickson, man, he wears the anchor of Namaste around his neck. There are people on the markets that want to see him punished because they didn't listen on Namaste and they didn't get out in time. So the sins of the man bun are exacted on the Zellickson. So, here he is. You go through the news flow. He's building out this network. He's doing the things that you would hope someone would do in charge of a situation like this, right? The news is unbelievably strong. Like revenues in January were $500,000. You know what the market cap of this company is? $3.5 million. Come on, man. Like your revenues just on that January alone are going to be around $6 million. They think the revenues are actually going to be $12 million, but let's say they only get to six. They only get to what we've actually seen so far. This is a $12 million revenue company valued at $3.5 million. Come on, man. You can't have a company that's seemingly afloat, that's growing, that's expanding globally, and it's worth 0.4% of revenues. Come on. This is stupid. So they've just put out an LOI that they're acquiring a company called Frozenly in the UK. So basically they're expanding their operations to the UK. They've got a distribution deal with VFC Foods, a services deal with Unreal Deli. partnership with plant-based foods. Vejii.Co is their own brand. Actual veggies burgers are online. Vejii.Co acquisition, like you just go down, Como plant-based foods begin selling products on veg. You go down their news list, and it is just partnership after acquisition after partnership after acquisition. Yes, they lost $12 million in 2021. They're establishing this network. Of course, they lost money in 2021. The point of it is that they're spending that money on expansion. Now you've got this massive network that is an asset that could be flipped at any time, pieces of which could be flipped at any time, but they're a $3 million market cap. Now, why is that? One, they just did a rollback, 4 for 1, and everybody hates a rollback, so everyone sells regardless of what they think of the company. They lost money in 2021. Everyone sells when they say, oh, you guys are losing money, I'm not sticking around. The markets suck. So that's bringing everything down. And so here you've got this company, above all else, you've got Corey Zellickson. Now, I spoke to Corey Zellickson. He and I were not friends at the beginning of things because I really served up Namaste on a platter at various points. So when he came in and said, I've got a new deal and I'm prepared to answer any questions, all right, respect for that. We can sit down, we can break a little bread, and we can say what the fuck actually happened there. And he gave me honest answers, which we put on a video on Equity Guru. Basically, the man bun got away with things, took things in a certain direction. Everyone got enamored with the upward market trends and thought success equals a positive stock chart, and eventually got top heavy and couldn't sustain itself. Well, we know the story in retrospect. So what's Zellickson supposed to do? Never go to work again? Or maybe create a legacy? Maybe build something out with the knowledge that he actually had on the way up with Namaste and the e-commerce fulfillment side of things on the large distribution network that Namaste actually did do a good job on, regardless of all the other bullshit. Okay, so here we are, a $3.5 million company doing $6 million of sales projected to 11, if you believe what they're saying, but I'm going to take 6 because it's based on the month that I can see, which is January. You've got growth into the UK now. You've got existing growth in the US, Canada. You've got multiple products that are on their network. Man, you've got multiple distribution deals, marketing deals, partnerships, acquisitions. I actually think this is a really good deal. And the fact that you can get it today at 13 cents, when it just a month ago rolled back to a 20-cent price, like it's 11 cents right now as I look at it. That's ridiculous. So this is a $3.7 million market cap. There are only 28 million shares out, according to Stockrush right now. I think this is legit. And I don't give a fuck about the market going down, the market going down. This has already gone down. Where's this going to go? A $1.5 billion market cap? A $500,000 market cap? Like, it's too cheap already. It doesn't make any balance sheet sense. This is a buy. Now, the only reason it might not be a buy is because there's still people out there freaking out that the markets are falling and this is a sector that's been beaten up. The plant-based sector has been beaten up and continues to be beaten up. You know why? Because it came out the gates valued at trillions. All right, it came out the gates with ridiculous valuations. Everyone jumped on Beyond Meat because, oh my God, I've heard of Beyond Meat. It's at A&W. Let's buy Beyond Meat, even though it was valued at billions of dollars and making nowhere near that in revenues. Here you've got the converse. You've got a company that's making revenues but is worth next to nothing. This is the opposite of the Beyond Meat. So they've had the downward pull of the Beyond Meats and whatnot losing their mojo, getting back to what should be a reasonable valuation. But Vejii hasn't had the chance to have its own mojo yet. So, man, I can sit here and I can say, well, you know, it's the bottom of the stock chart. Maybe it's got some place to go. I don't believe it does. And if it does have some place to go, I'm starting to collect. Because honestly, fair dinkum, this has gone from $1.60 down to 10 cents in the space of about 7 months. And it's only had positive news. I don't understand it. Could the hatred for Corey Zellickson be so bad that he is the reason this is down? I don't believe so. I just think that people are putting together poor markets, soft sector, expansion is expensive, don't understand the business model, haven't seen it on my shelves because they put their own shelves, and are thinking there's nothing to see here. Well, you know, the selling has been pretty consistent across the last 6 months. So whoever brought this to market didn't have the strong hands that one would hope that they would have. And maybe there's a lot of cheap paper that's blazing out. I don't know, man. But all I can tell you is if you look at the stats, if you look at the chart and you look at the market cap, and you look at the actual news flow, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, if they need to get a bunch of money in raised, then okay, I get it, because raising money at this price would be absurdly expensive money. And the markets are down, so nobody's looking to fulfill financings right now. That is the risk, that they run out of money and oops, now overnight we're dead. I don't think that's the case. I don't think you're still doing LOIs, you're still doing acquisitions if you're low on capital and you think that you're going to have any struggle getting more. I think that Vejii, honestly, is a buy at this point. Now, having gone down a cent a day for the last 20 days, maybe you want to wait. Maybe you want to wait a day or two. Maybe you want to see what happens with the rest of the markets. Maybe you want to see, is there news coming out that would make this not a buy? But I honestly think, you know, if I'm just looking at the basics here, this doesn't make sense to hold off on. I think VEJI is an interesting deal. Take everything else out of account. If it was a $20 million deal, to me, this is an interesting deal. If it was not run by Corey Zellickson, to me, this is a $30 million company. The stigmas that are around this thing are stupid. They don't make any sense. And if I'm playing game theory, which you should be when you're playing against the markets, I honestly think the market has ignored this at its peril. I think this is a Moneyball pick. I think if you buy in at this price, regardless of whether it's 10 cents today or 8 cents tomorrow, you're buying at a really cheap price. And I think that this thing's going to go. I ain't one of those guys that say it's going to the moon, but I think 10 cents, hey, you're definitely going to see 20 cents in the future. So to me, VEJI, an interesting buy right now. Total vulture capital deal, right? Total, you're taking the bones, the meat off the bones that someone else has left behind, but take the meat. It's being offered to you on a plate. $3.5 million market cap. Come on, man. They've put like 40 million bucks into this thing. The money is in assets, and the assets are growing and growing and growing. I can't tell you any more than that. Look, I'm as much a contrarian as anybody, right? I won't buy a Tesla vehicle, even though I love them, because I have no confidence that that board of directors and that CEO will still exist in 5 years to maintain the vehicle. I think they'll end up crashing harder than anybody in any market correction. And I think the people who bought into that thing at the top will flee for the hills. It is going to have a massive, massive problem. I ain't a cheerleader for anybody. And Vejii, look, as I said, it's a client company and I've been buying stock. So I'm conflicted up the arse. Ignore everything that I say. Just go look at the market cap. Just go look at the news feed and tell me that you don't think that this thing has some potential. I think it's got potential. It is a complete contrarian play. Everyone else is dumping. I think take a look. Now, don't go all in. Don't put your house on it, because there are intangibles here that we may not yet be exposed to, right? Who knows what's happening behind the scenes that maybe is seeing other people sell. But look at the revenue compared to the market cap. Look at the space they're in. Look at what they're announcing. Look at the deals that they're doing. I think Vejii's interesting. And for mine, I'm in a buy mode, regardless of the market, regardless of anything else. VEJI.